over Lincoln. Again, heavy downpour, nothing to be too concerned about. Occasional raindrops on the lens kind of showing up too, as we've seen some rain move in town. I'm going to pull up some of the observations from the Lincoln airport to see maybe what wind gusts move through here as of late on my phone. Maybe top it out around 20 to 25 miles an hour. As the storm has moved through, the Lincoln airport did see a reduction in visibility down to about 3.5 miles. And this is within the last update came as of 8:35 this evening, and we had about 0.15 of an inch in a short amount of time. So we are seeing a little bit of rain here through Lincoln. And this storm was big enough really to produce a good amount of rain throughout town. So hopefully you didn't miss out on some of that, because we haven't seen a ton of precipitation so far for the month of November. Not that we do get a whole lot of precipitation throughout this month, but as I zoom back out across the state, you can see, again, the swirling nature of this upper level low. It's really producing rain, and that's something at this time of the year too. Usually we're looking to see if any part of this storm is cold enough to be producing any snow. And even as I zoom out to the north, maybe North Dakota is seeing a few flurries out of this, looking at radar, but it's all rain across Nebraska and some thunderstorms here in eastern Nebraska. So something that maybe caught you off guard here this evening. So that's what I'm doing here, hopping on and talking about this a little bit as these storms move to the north and east. Still a lot of lightning, too, as I stop radar from moving. From here on I-80 down toward Milford, Pleasantdale, Seward area. You've got a pretty good storm above you right now, too, with the lightning. Again, these are moving to the north and east. I'm going to check one other product I have to see if there's anything. Nope. There was a statement earlier with the storm that had moved through Stromsburg that's now moving past David City, in which the National Weather Service highlighted the potential for 40-mile-per-hour winds and some small hail, but again, a handful of reports of pea-size hail in and around Lincoln from what I can see with some of the products I have on my phone. Yeah, all pea-size, nothing bigger than that, so that's good. Nothing severe with any of these storms. They're just run-of-the-mill thunderstorms with a brief heavy downpour. A big light show really here tonight with the darkening skies. But these are expected to continue to the north and east with time. Up I-80 toward Gretna. And I see that, and there is a severe thunderstorm warning. Wow, okay. Let's get the latest information on that, shall we, while we're talking about this? A severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued for northwestern Lancaster County and east central Seward County until 9:15 here this evening. Just a minute ago, this severe thunderstorm was located 4 miles northwest of Pleasantdale or 7 miles southeast of Seward, moving north and east at 30 miles an hour. The main hazard with this severe thunderstorm warning is quarter-size hail. So this will be in effect for another half hour or so as this storm overall is moving to the north and east. So I'm going to take off the lightning product so you can see this storm, and it's moving. If I step back in time a little bit, you can see its movement, and it's really rapidly intensified. There were not any dark reds in there. What was this? Not all that long ago. Within the last 15, 20 minutes or so, this storm has really popped up and intensified, and enough so that the National Weather Service out of Omaha has issued a severe thunderstorm warning. The severe thunderstorm warning will be around Malcolm near 8:55 here this evening, Raymond around 9:05 here this evening. And again, quarter-size hail. So borderline severe, but there could be some damage to cars when you have hail that's up to 1 inch in diameter. Pea-size, I just had one of our producers, Macy, tell me that she looked outside, and outside here at the studio, we are getting pea-size hail. But as we talk about the severe thunderstorm warning down towards Seward, borderline severe at this point with this warning. Again, that's the time on it. It does include Seward County and Lancaster County, the extreme northwestern portions that would probably include Branch Stoke Lake eventually later on. Boy, we can hear the rain coming down here at the studio. It's pretty loud. And with some of the Small hail coming down too, a pretty good downpour. So let me now position us toward Lincoln. Again, we're at about 40th and Vine. And you can see the darker reds overhead of us. Yeah, that indicating some very heavy rain coming down and some small hail at times. But again, just off to our west is Seward with a severe thunderstorm warning at this point just before 9 p.m. here this evening. So if you're in Seward, be prepared. There could be a strong storm within your area here soon if you aren't already seeing it. It is moving to the north and east with time at around 30 miles per hour. It'll be in and around the Malcolm area within a few minutes. It'll be within Raymond around 9:05 here this evening. So we do have one severe thunderstorm warning out of this. This is impressive. As a meteorologist, you do not see many severe thunderstorm warnings in November, but we do know, as a Nebraska native myself for quite some time, actually really since birth, I've been here all 26 years of my life now. It's not that common to see a severe thunderstorm warning in November. We can see them in December, though. So interesting to look at this. As I put this into motion over the last 4 hours, you get a complete picture of what storms popped up across southeast Nebraska and are moving to the north and east with time. It's hard to hear myself, really, over the noise that the heavy rain and the small hail is making outside. Cats and dogs outside is really what I would describe this as. No severe thunderstorm warnings out there except for the one that is grazing east Seward toward Malcolm here at this point. Stop the motion on that. Again, Malcolm, Raymond, you would be the ones of concern with maybe some quarter-size hail as that storm, pretty cellular in nature, is moving to the north and east with time here this evening. Again, that severe thunderstorm warning will be in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. The National Weather Service issued this severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Lancaster County and east central Seward County here this evening, for the main threat being up to quarter-size hail. So wind's really not a factor. We are not worried about any tornado threat tonight. The setup is really not right for it. It's just some small hail, maybe some gusty winds, and certainly some heavy downpours and a lot of lightning. We've seen a good light show really here in Lincoln for quite some time with these storms kind of congealing with time as well as they move to the north and east. So if you're just joining us here, good evening. I'm meteorologist Jessica Blum here in the 1011 streaming studio. Here taking a look at the storms that have popped up within the last couple hours and are racing to the north and east. Lincoln has not been under a severe thunderstorm warning, but there is one currently right now just off to our west towards Seward, Malcolm, and Raymond, so portions of Lancaster County. Again, this severe thunderstorm warning will be in effect until 9:15 here this evening, and the main hazard with this warning is up to quarter-size hail. So an inch in diameter, the size of a quarter, can do damage at this point. If you are just joining us, too, I've been talking about some of the reports I've gotten around Lincoln. Hanville, now up to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reports of hail around town. So far, they've been P, and I have not seen any reports to confirm any of the hail on the Seward storm moving toward Malcolm at this point. But the potential is there for that Malcolm storm that you see here with the severe thunderstorm warning to have up to quarter-size hail with it. But within Lincoln, we've seen hail up to about pea size from what I've heard, and from, again, one of our producers, Macy, stepping outside for me to give us a first-hand look of what's just outside here this evening. So very, very interesting setup we have with this upper-level low-pressure system as I zoom out across the state here in a second. Again, there are some areas with clear skies at this point in Nebraska, but then there's some light rain here on the backside of this system as I put this into motion. Very light rain from about Sidney east along I-80 toward North Platte at this point. That is going to be our chance at a little light rain tomorrow morning, so we're not done with the rain chances here early this week, but then we enter a dry period toward the middle of this week, toward Wednesday, Thursday, and then chances do increase, I think, later Thursday and really into Friday for a little bit more rain to kind of bookend the work week here this week. So this upper level low pressure system, you can certainly see the swirling nature to it as it brings rain to eastern Nebraska and western Nebraska, and a ton more rain across South Dakota, Minnesota, and into Iowa. But really, the latest push of storms across eastern Nebraska on the front end of this upper level low pressure system had just enough energy with it to produce a severe thunderstorm warning that you can see moving toward Malcolm at this point. I am getting some more reports from some of my members of the newsroom. Appreciate anchor Madison Pitch sending me another report from Facebook that pea-size hail north just of East Campus and on the northwest side of town. We've got several reports, though, of hail. 82nd and O, west of Seward as well. So I appreciate her letting me know she's seeing some of those reports on Facebook, too. Social media, of course, a wonderful thing when we have events like this so I can hear what's going on in your area. But again, Malcolm under the gun with this severe thunderstorm warning at this point for up to quarter-size hail. And then up toward Raymond, you would be next for up to quarter-size hail as the main hazard with the severe thunderstorm warning. I haven't heard any reports to confirm that quarter-size hail is there, but the potential is definitely there for quarter-size hail. And this should be in the Raymond area by about 9:05, so in less than 10 minutes' time. I'm going to take a break here and just look at some of the reports and see what the National Weather Service is saying to see if I have any more to give you for the latest information we have on this. So we'll just sit on radar here across southeast Nebraska for a second. I'll put this into motion so you can see what is happening. Again, these storms are moving to the north and east at about 30 miles per hour with time here this evening. Good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Jessica Blum here, joining you within the 1011 streaming studio here on a Monday evening, talking about storms, talking about, yes, a severe storm out there at this point, as we're looking at radar just before 9 o'clock here this evening. I'll stop the motion just to show you where those storms currently sit and some of the latest information I have looking through a chat I have with the National Weather Service out of Omaha. An emergency manager out of the Lancaster County Emergency Management did report a few dime-sized pieces of hail a mile west of Lincoln, the Lincoln Airport. That was closer to the 8:30 timestamp. From what we've heard from the National Weather Service, there are a few hail cores this evening perking up quickly, like the one that's currently warned near Malcolm. These storms will be capable of hail up to an inch, but likely only for a short amount of time. And based on the reports the National Weather Service has received, the smaller storms are also producing a lot of hail, enough to cover roads. Did just have another report that some pea-sized hail was seen near 33rd and Vine in Lincoln. Nickel hail within Valley. Yeah, so there is a decent amount of hail with these storms being reported at this point, including what just moved through Lincoln. It's on the northeast side of town at this point, moving slowly with time. 30 miles an hour isn't all that fast. When we've seen severe weather within some of the busier summer months, we're talking 40, 50, 60 mile per hour miles per hour for a storm motion at this point. So slowly moving storms at this point. But once we see these storms clear out, we'll be done for the night. So we're just kind of monitoring what's happening with one severe thunderstorm warning out there that Malcolm, Raymond, Northwest Lancaster County are all included in until 9:15. That'll likely stay in place And we'll see if anything gets issued after that as the National Weather Service kind of monitors that hail core at this point. What we've seen so far in Lincoln, mostly up to pea-sized hail from what I've seen from some reports. Some dime hail too, sized hail seen. But the heavy rain is moving on toward Waverly, between Havelock and Waverly right now. So if you're in the Havelock area, you're likely hearing a lot of rain come down, a good heavy downpour, and maybe some small hail mixed in with that as well. I've heard it go quiet here at the station, so we're kind of pretty good here around 40th and Vine areas, and really O Street. This continues to be north of you as we look at the storms here. I'm going to move the loop to just be the last hour or so, and that's still pretty quick, so let me slow that down. There we go. A nice loop over the last hour or so. So yes, storms at this time of the year, we don't see them all that often, let alone storms that can go severe warned like we're seeing here this evening. But if you're a Nebraska native like I have been my whole life, you can see severe thunderstorm warnings even in the month of December and in the winter months. There can be severe weather on one side of a system and snow on the other side of the state, really. Kind of like we're seeing here this evening, but not cold enough really in western Nebraska to be producing snow. It is warm enough out that way that radar is picking up on some light rain. And again, as I zoom out across the state, that light rain out to the west is what is supposed to be our chance at a little light rain in southeast Nebraska tomorrow morning. It will not be much for any measurable type of rain, but that'll be our chance early in the day before really dry weather takes over for the rest of Tuesday. We are expected to warm up a little bit more for the middle portions of this week. Tomorrow, high temperatures in the lower 50s for Lincoln. High temperatures closer to 60 degrees Wednesday, Thursday. We do not have a 70-degree day in the 7-day forecast. If I were to maybe punch that up here real quickly, just to give you an overall look at what's going on. There's the 7-day forecast here loading in a second. Thought it was going to do a little quicker. There it is. Okay. So we do have a small chance for an early shower tomorrow morning. Put that about 20%. Then we teeter-totter throughout the week, really, with up and down temperatures. No 70s in the 7-day forecast, unfortunately, but closer to 60 degrees Wednesday, Thursday. And then we'll have a little better chance at some rain for the end of the work week on Friday. And then back up around 60 degrees with dry weather for your weekend. But here this evening, my purpose to join you watching the storm that's moved on from most of downtown Lincoln. This is a look at our Lincoln Skyview camera, still picking up on some flashes of lightning here and there, but the heavy rain has moved on to the northwest side of town, and maybe a little small hail associated with that. And then we did have one severe thunderstorm warning out there for portions of Seward and northwest Lancaster County, but it looks like that has been allowed to expire early. So that is good news. The severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. We do have a lot of lightning surrounding Waverly, again, the northwest side of Lincoln, toward Raymond, Branched Oak Lake area, Malcolm, Seward, and Garland. You're all seeing a lot of lightning here this evening in November. What's funny, I have to share this with you because our meteorologist Bill Rentschler took to Twitter here earlier this evening, and he said something that made me laugh, and I felt the need to share it with you. 2 things I didn't know go together: my heated blanket and November thunderstorms. Boy, Bill, love to be where you're at right now with the heated blanket and listening to the thunderstorms roll through. Just joining you here this evening to give you a heads up on what's been going on. I think a lot of these thunderstorms kind of caught some of us off guard, especially some of my coworkers coming in from maybe their dinner break. A lot of lightning in the area, some heavy downpours too. At this time of the year, I was talking to Carmelo earlier in the day. You just never know if you need an umbrella. You don't know what kind of coat you need. You may need all of it, just hanging around in your car, keeping you prepared at this time of the year. But yes, a lot of lightning. Again, good news is that latest severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for Malcolm and Raymond It was supposed to go until 9:15. That has been allowed to expire early. And as I say that, let me check the National Weather Service chat to see if they said anything about it. Nope, they did not confirm that they let it go, but they have let it go at this point. Oh, I wonder if that's a false report. Someone did report snow or graupel, probably graupel. Maybe a little graupel in there with some of the hail, but I think largely this was hail. I have one viewer that loves to send me pictures on Twitter too. She's saying that she needed to put on a winter coat to look at these storms here this evening. It is pretty cold with some of the lightning as these storms are rolling through. But again, heavy rain about to move into Raymond, if it's not there already, in the Branched Oak Lake area. Davie, Ceresco, you're about to see some of this as well. A lot of lightning, maybe some small hail in there, not enough to prompt another severe thunderstorm warning downstream. Again, we did have that severe thunderstorm warning expire, so there is no longer potential for hail to be up to an inch, but it could be just below that. So just smaller than a quarter in diameter. But you can really see these storms are kind of coming together, congealing in and around I-80 and then curling up to the north and east. Omaha is seeing some of this as well. Ashland, Gretna. I always have to keep an eye out on the Gretna area because that is where my family is at. If you remember the August 9th storms from this summer, that kind of came out of nowhere in the morning. I was up. I was calling my family. I was like, "Are you in the basement?" Because those were warned for 80-mile-an-hour winds at that point. But nothing like that here this evening. We're just looking at some pretty run-of-the-mill thunderstorms overall. Nothing too threatening, though we have had hail associated with what storms have been out there. In and around the Lincoln area, most of the reports I've seen coming in are pea-size in diameter. But then we did have a severe thunderstorm warning for hail up to an inch between here and Seward. Again, toward Malcolm, and really between Malcolm and Seward. That was where the strongest hail course moved in, with some of those darker reds and purples just pushing through Raymond at this point. And then again, continuing north and east with time at about 30 miles an hour as I put this into a loop. Oh, it went back to 4 hours. That's my bad. Let me change this back to an hour for the loop. Slow it down. And then we'll have something better to look at. There we go. So again, that one hail core pushing through Malcolm and then racing to the north and east. Raymond has seen the worst of it. It's now moving on. Ceresco, you're probably next. Crazy. We are talking about storms in November. Here on a Monday evening, November 17th. It is just after 9 o'clock. Ooh, I'm going to tease ahead to our 10 o'clock show. You'll have to tune in, too, because we are getting some good hail videos from some of you viewers at home. We're getting some good lightning pictures. We really appreciate it. Brian Erickson just sent us in a good lightning video, too, or a lightning picture, I should say, that we will be sharing within our 10 o'clock show. So something to look forward to here later this evening as we watch these storms move on. So it is good that we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings at this point. Really didn't foresee a severe thunderstorm warning happening at this point, but there was enough oomph out of one of these storms, thankfully not in the Lincoln area, but just off to our west, that organized enough to produce some hail and prompt the National Weather Service to issue a severe thunderstorm warning. If you don't know, it is not me, it is not us meteorologists here at 1011 issuing the severe thunderstorm warnings. It is the National Weather Service. So we really appreciate our partnership with them as they look for some of the indicators of a severe thunderstorm warning, which it does take one of three things to issue a severe thunderstorm warning. Hail has to be at least an inch in diameter, if not bigger, from what they're thinking from radar indications. Wind gusts have to be 58 miles per hour or greater to issue a severe thunderstorm warning, or a tornado has to be likely or imminent to get a severe thunderstorm warning, but that would likely turn into a tornado warning. But none of that here this evening. I'm just kind of giving you some background information as we look at some of these storms come together across eastern Nebraska, and even as far north as Norfolk, maybe seeing a little light rain really just to the east of Norfolk, pushing toward Wisner. That's how I thought I was looking at Wilbur. Wisner, that's right, in northeast Nebraska. So let me put back on the lightning that I took off, lightning product, to see all the dancing lightning icons over the last hour. Quite something, but nothing too threatening. So if you're looking at going to bed sometime soon, I wouldn't be too worried. This could be something you sleep through unless you're a light sleeper. Then you'll just kind of want to keep an eye out for a little small hail this evening, nothing too threatening. And it'll be out of our hair, and then we may be in for a little light rain tomorrow morning. Nothing too measurable, really. It's not going to add up to a whole lot tomorrow morning if we see it. Kind of drizzly light rain in the morning with what cloud cover we have before that moves on, and much of the day is dry for Tuesday. But yes, we are just hanging out, talking about what storms are out there. Again, Lincoln now in the clear, really, downtown Lincoln. It's now Waverly seeing some of these storms move through, and then again, almost Valparaiso and Ceresco about to see some heavy rain and some small hail move through. Kind of flipping back between products I have. And now a good number of hail reports have come in across town, but up to pea-size hail really is what I've seen. Well, we do have 1/2 inch report on the northeast side of town. This was probably half hour ago at this point. So we did see a little bit bigger hail within Lincoln. And then I'm not sure we have enough people to report out in Seward or Malcolm. Maybe some people can let me know or let us know if you saw anything bigger than that. We'd love to hear from you. But again, these are the storms that are out there as of Monday evening. They continue to move to the north and east, around 30 miles an hour or so. So this is all kind of coming together. Omaha's about to see a lot of rain kind of come through with some of these storms as they continue to kind of hold together, but do not have enough oomph at this point to have any active severe thunderstorm warnings, so that's good news. Again, severe weather at this time of the year is a feat to get. We don't see it very often. We did see one warning issued tonight, which was something. I saw our chief meteorologist, Brad Anderson, post earlier this evening that we did just have visible northern lights overhead in Nebraska last week, and now we do have November severe storms here tonight. So quite something that we've seen here in a matter of a week's time. I'm just kind of looking through the National Weather Service again to see if we've gotten anything. One of our media partners up in Omaha is seeing pea-size hail at 164th and Blondo. So some very, very, very late season storms here coming through this evening, but nothing too threatening at this point. We just did see some rain, and now that the rain's moved on from Lincoln, let me pull up some of the observations from the airport again to show you maybe what's completely come through. Let's see here. About 0.13 of an inch is what the Lincoln Airport is reporting for rain out of what we just saw in those storms. The strongest wind gusts were not all that bad, up around 22 miles an hour. Some rain-cooled air out there too, just a little bit. Temperatures falling to about 50 degrees. Which is still not bad for this time of the year at night. We should be in the 20s for a low temperature at night, and we are closer to 50 degrees here for Monday evening. It's been really nice. The 70s last week were really nice. Rare for November, and some 80s even out there too. And Lincoln didn't quite get to 80, but some areas were up in the middle 80s last week. And I do remember, just speaking of weird weather we've seen in Nebraska, I think it was last year when we saw the blizzard in March We were in the 80s earlier that week before the blizzard came through. Nebraska weather at its finest. This is what keeps me doing what I'm doing, is keeping an eye on all of this, because it is sure interesting for sure. But no severe thunderstorms out there at this point as I stop this loop. Storms are up near Waverly, up near Ceresco, and then up toward the Omaha Metro. You can see Omaha itself hasn't quite seen the rain move in, but Boys Town, Millard starting to see some rain pick up. And all of this is moving to the northeast. If you're just joining us here this evening, if I'd start out from the top again, good evening. I'm meteorologist Jessica Blum here, joining you from the 1011 streaming studio. We've been watching these storms as they cross across eastern Nebraska, moving to the north and east with time. Overall, these storms are associated with an upper level low pressure system that you can see spinning over Nebraska and South Dakota. It is throwing precipitation from South Dakota toward Minnesota, Iowa, and into Illinois. The latest push of storms here this evening, just strong enough to produce one severe thunderstorm warning between Seward and Malcolm. Lincoln did not see anything severe, but we did see a little bit of hail and some heavy downpour certainly coming down. It's hard to hear myself think and talk, really, outside of our studio, and I appreciate our producer, Macy, stepping outside. She confirmed some pea-sized hail here at the studio as well. And then I have heard from our lovely evening anchor, Madison Pitch, that we've heard some more pea-sized reports across town as well. But nothing severe out there at this point. Again, these storms are moving on toward the Omaha Metro, toward Wahoo. Throw back up the lightning if anyone's curious. The main threat with these storms would be some small hail, a little bit of gusty winds for a short time, and some short, heavy downpours. Really, none of those hazards lasting in one area for very long. But yeah, you can see these storms kind of coming together in coverage across northeast Nebraska. They will be out of our hair completely later tonight. They're already out of our hair in Lincoln. But again, our friends and family up toward Omaha, it's getting loud along I-80. Tons of lightning. Pretty good light show. A different light show from the northern lights we saw a week ago, but this time driven by some severe thunderstorms. Or at least one severe thunderstorm, I should say. Nothing severe out there right now. So I am going to continue to look to see if I have any new information. Other than that, we may let this stream go here in a short while. I appreciate you all joining me this evening to kind of get the latest on some rain, some thunderstorms, and yes, even a severe thunderstorm warning in southeast Nebraska here this evening on Monday, November 17th of 2025. So let me see if I've got any new information to share with you. If not, I'll pop back on, just say a brief goodbye and let you go for the evening. Okay, really not seeing any new information to share with you all here as you've stayed on with us here this evening. So we are just seeing some more run-of-the-mill thunderstorms move across northeast Nebraska and eastern Nebraska, north of Lincoln, along I-80 toward Omaha. Those are the storms in question we've been following for quite some time here this evening now. But no severe thunderstorm warnings in play now. Those were allowed to expire about 20 minutes ago. The one really that was issued by the National Weather Service out of Omaha between Seward and Malcolm. And now we're just on for, again, looking at a lot of lightning across eastern Nebraska. But I do not have a lot of new information, and I'm not seeing the National Weather Service leaning toward watching anything more. These storms kind of come together. They actually weaken. So they can't organize as well to produce as strong of an updraft that was earlier able to maybe produce up to an inch hail in diameter toward Malcolm and Raymond areas in northwest Lancaster County and the east side of Seward, maybe in Seward County. So really this is looking less threatening as we go forward in time with this radar loop over the last hour. I'll kind of stop it to give you the latest radar scan. Just a lot of lightning out there. There could be some pea-size hail. I am still seeing some reports toward Omaha come in of pea-size hail. And then, yeah, some heavy downpours, really. So as this continues to move to the north and east, about 30 miles an hour, give or take, with time, these storms do not look threatening. We really kind of saw these storms as they were first popping up pretty cellular in nature, which means they're pretty isolated in nature. They can't be by themselves, and they have a better opportunity to kind of organize when we see them like that, and then kind of quickly pulse up before kind of weakening with time. And as they come together, as you're seeing across eastern Nebraska, north of Lincoln, towards Ceresco, Saunders County, toward Wahoo, these are weakening with time. There's still a lot of lightning out there, don't get me wrong. It's a pretty good light show across eastern Nebraska, and some pea-size hail, again, still coming in with some reports. But as for severe weather, I'm really not anticipating any more warnings to come out here this evening. So if you're looking to go to bed, maybe you can fall asleep to some of this. Pea-size hail still was kind of loud as I heard my producer go out and look for me and confirm that there was some pea-size hail with the heavy downpours within Lincoln. And here at the studio, we're closer to 40th and Vine. So it was pretty loud for a time. So maybe you won't be able to go to sleep for a little bit longer. But once these storms are out of our hair, again, as we've been looking at the bigger picture, and this upper level low kind of swirls across the region, really centered over Nebraska at this point, there's a little light rain on the backside. And it's interesting to watch systems at this time of the year, because if there was enough cold air being pulled from the north with this system, we'd likely be seeing snow out in western Nebraska. But we're not seeing that here tonight. We're seeing some light rain from North Platte into northeastern Colorado. And that is going to be our next chance as this system continues to churn east at a little light rain, maybe a little drizzle tomorrow morning. It's not going to be much. Stay tuned to Chief Meteorologist Brad Anderson's latest forecast tonight here at 10 o'clock. Again, stay tuned. We're going to have some fun things we're working for you. Fun, I say, as a meteorologist. We had some really cool lightning photos come in from viewers, as well as some hail video. So our producers are working on that here for our 10 o'clock show. So be sure to tune in for that. But in the meantime, again, nothing threatening, I think, here in the near future as these storms continue to move north and east across far eastern Nebraska. Just some heavy rain, maybe gusty winds, maybe a little pea-sized hail for a very short amount of time, and then this will move on and will be pretty quiet for most of the overnight hours. And then we're looking at dry weather prevailing for much of Tuesday and really into the middle of this week as we warm up closer to 60 degrees again here in Lincoln toward Wednesday and Thursday. But we thank you for joining here this evening on Monday, November 17th, talking about storms in Nebraska in November. And yes, there was a severe thunderstorm warning for a short time earlier this evening for up to quarter-sized hail between Seward and Malcolm, but we have not seen anything severe for a time, so that gives me confidence as these storms are kind of maturing that we're pretty in the clear for the Lincoln area and much of southeast Nebraska with the movement of these storms. But we do wish everyone a good night, and of course, stay tuned for the latest weather updates on our 1011 weather app. And again, tune in for a fun 10 o'clock show tonight with the latest on what we saw move through Lincoln and some of the other news headlines we have to share with you.